Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right. Ms. Thomas, if you'll just have a seat, make sure you pull yourself up to the microphone, and if you would state your full name and spell your first and last name for the court reporter.
My name is Tiana Thomas, Tiyanna.
All right, this is standard courtroom groundwork. Name, spelling, date of birth, boring on the surface, but crucial. This locks the witness into the record, so her testimony can't be challenged later on identity grounds.
Last name Thomas.
Ms. Thomas, what is your date of birth?
09/11/02.
And where do you live, city and state?
Chickasaw, Alabama.
I'm going to direct your attention to Friday, August 11th, 2023. Do you remember that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you at work on August 11th, 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
What company did you work for at that time?
WIS.
What was the name of the store that you were at on August 11th?
Home Depot.
In what city?
Pensacola, Florida.
Toward the end of your shift, which area of the store were you working?
Pay attention here. This is where the prosecution starts quietly building credibility. She's placing herself, naming coworkers, and setting the scene. Every name mentioned could later become a corroborating witness or a contradiction.
The Lighting Owl.
Were there any other of your coworkers on the lighting aisle with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember who?
Not exactly everybody, but I remember a few people.
Okay, who do you remember?
Courtland, Ashanti, me, Brooklyn.
While you were on the lighting aisle, did you see something or hear something that caught your attention?
When I looked up, I did see him standing by her. He tapped her and was talking to her. I didn't hear anything, though.
So let's talk about him and her. So
Right.
who's he?
Keith.
Okay, and what do you see Keith do?
Tap her on the shoulder.
Who's her?
Brooklyn, sorry.
That's okay. At the time you saw who you've said is Keith tap Brooklyn on the shoulder, where were you physically located?
The same aisle as her, maybe like.
And there it is, the moment everything changes. Notice how calm her delivery is. Jurors tend to trust witnesses who don't dramatize traumatic moments. Do you think that works in her favor or makes it feel emotionally distant?
4 or 5 bays down.
And when he taps her, Brooklyn, on the shoulder, did you hear him say anything?
No, ma'am.
Did you hear her say anything?
No, ma'am.
After you saw him tap her on her shoulder, what did you see or hear next?
I actually looked back down because I just thought he was a customer, so I just looked down.
Okay, and then what's the next thing you saw or heard?
Then I heard gunshots.
How many gunshots did you hear?
I'm not exactly sure how many.
Okay. When you heard the gunshots,
This is a key legal detail. Defense attorneys often question why a witness didn't see more. But legally, fleeing a dangerous scene is considered a reasonable human reaction, not suspicious behavior.
did you look up to see where Brooklyn and Keith were?
Yes, ma'am.
And were they facing each other or were they away from each other?
At first they were facing each other until he shot. That's when she fell to the floor.
Okay. And what did you do at that point?
Start running the opposite direction.
Now, this is subtle but powerful. She's not accusing anyone. She's describing behavior that feels off. Jurors love patterns, and this plants a seed without outright alleging wrongdoing.
Were there other people in the store running?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you see where Keith went after the shots?
No, ma'am. I went the opposite direction.
Ms. Thomas, do you know this defendant seated over here, Sheila Agee?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you know her?
She was a supervisor.
And was she working on the day that Brooklyn got shot?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you see her periodically throughout the day? I'm not talking about Sheila.
Yes, ma'am.
How would you say she was acting?
A little strange, just a little bit.
And what do you mean by that, as opposed to how she would normally be?
Well, Sheila, she usually was kind of uppity. She would usually direct us around, tell us where to go. But that day, she really wasn't trying to.
Okay. Do you remember if you guys were almost done with your shift that day?
Yes, ma'am, we were.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
If they were almost done with their shift that day?
Yes.
How often did you see Brooklyn on August 11th prior to the shooting?
A good amount of times, actually.
Okay. And how was she acting on that day?
Like Brooklyn. She was always happy, always smiling.
Did she ever seem scared to you?
No, ma'am.
Did she seem concerned?
No, ma'am.
Did she seem nervous?
No, ma'am.
Do you know what kind of car Sheila AG drove back then?
It was a big black truck, not exactly sure of the make and model.
Okay. And do you know if Miss AG would transport some of the employees to work?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know how many?
Her truck usually fits about 3 in the back, 2 in the middle row, and then her and another person in the front.
If you will, to the left of you, you should have a picture there. If you will just flip it over and take a look at that, that's State's Exhibit number 47.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recognize who's in that exhibit?
Brooklyn.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Those are all my questions.
Good morning.
And how long had you been working with that firm?
Can you repeat yourself, please?
How long had you been working?
Maybe about 2 to 3 months. if
Okay.
that.
You know Brooklyn?
Yes, sir.
Socially or just at work?
Just at work.
Okay. You know she was, had a child? She had a
Yes,
father
I
to the
did.
child?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Had you ever seen the father outside of work?
No, sir, not before that.
Ever seen him? You never saw him at work either?
No, sir.
And I guess you'd known Sheila for that same amount of time, 2, 3 months?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's your relationship with Sheila?
She was just my supervisor.
Okay. And do you know her relationship with Brooklyn?
Not really, no, sir.
Okay. Okay. And I think you were testifying earlier, it seemed to you, and let me see if I can phrase it, that maybe Sheila was a little preoccupied. Would that be a proper word?
Yes, sir. That's kind
Okay.
of, that fits.
Okay. You ever talk to her about, why she seemed preoccupied? You have any idea?
No, sir.
Okay. All righty. Thank you, young lady.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Is she free to go?
She is.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Thomas. You can step down.
State calls.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give us the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
If you will have a seat, Ms. Bishop, just make sure you speak into the microphone, and if you will state your name, spell your last name for our court reporter.
Brittany Bishop, B-I-S-H-O-P,
And Ms. Bishop, where are you employed?
Escambia County Sheriff's Office.
What do you do for them?
I am a crime scene technician,
How long have you been with the sheriff's office now?
approximately 7 years.
And can you tell the jury what a crime scene technician does?
I respond to various crime scenes where I document, process, and collect items of evidence, and then I preserve them.
And in your time at the sheriff's office, how many homicide scenes would you say you've worked?
I have been the primary crime scene technician, and I have assisted in over 25 homicide scenes.
Were you working August the 11th, 2023?
Yes.
And did you respond to the Home Depot on Davis Highway?
Yes.
What time did you get there?
At approximately 1400 hours or 2 p.m.
Was Miss Sims still on the scene at that time?
Yes.
And where was she?
And she was on aisle 52.
And did you go there?
I did.
And did you photograph the scene and the items you located?
Yes.
I'm going to show you states 2 through 29. Just take a minute, look through those. Your Honor, may we approach?
You may. About the case, okay? Thank you.
Do I need to step up?
Okay, as I was discussing with counsel at the bench, Ms. Agee was
This moment matters more than people realize. The judge is protecting the jury from emotional influence. In plain terms, verdicts must be based on evidence, not tears, even when emotions are completely understandable.
obvious to the court, and I think the state, and certainly a number of the jurors, that you were overcome with emotion. It became a focal point of a number of the jurors, and I know Mr. Ackerman, your assistant, stepped out, got her a number of tissues, paper towels. You indicated at the bench it was likely because she saw some of the crime scene photos, but we need to keep in mind that it's not appropriate for either Ms. Agee or anybody else out in the gallery to be in a situation where they cannot compose themselves in a way that it's going to affect the jury's attention away from the evidence that's being presented. So Ms. Agee, if that happens again, I need you to let your attorney know so we can take a break and have the jurors step out. Do you need a few minutes, ma'am?
I apologize, sir.
Okay, we just want you to have a few minutes to take some deep breaths, okay? And we'll just take a couple minutes, and then if you're ready, we'll bring the jurors back in. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
The other thing I will mention, since we're here, I've watched the juror that was referenced earlier. He's taking notes. He appears to be attentive. I think when he looks down to make his notes, it kind of has the appearance that his eyes are closed, so that may have been, what was observed earlier, but he doesn't appear to me to be of any concern. Anything from state or defense on that juror?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
One more minute, I'm going to be right back.
Okay. Yes, sir.
It's fine.
Thank you, Judge.